crazy ideas get thrown out all the time, and they become reality.
I think my absolute favorite thing about camp is the word yes. It comes to campers and staff and pretty much anyone who can ask. It comes to parents. It's amazing when campers can think of a cabin activity that they've never done before, when they want to destroy an Nalgene bottle or bake the biggest cookie possible, and we can look at them and say, okay, let's do it. Don't know how it's going to work or if it's going to work, but we'll give it a shot and do our best.
Camp is a place where imagination rules, and I find it a place of possibility. Anything that you can imagine, anything that the kids can imagine that they want to do, in camp, I guess, it makes it possible.
It's a place to learn lots of new skills, both activity-wise and life skills, really. It's a place to struggle, but be supported. A place to fall forward. It's a place to be moved by the campers and the counsellors' stories, and it's a place to realise what's important to you.
I would explain it as a place that you come and you give so much of yourself, but you get so much back in return. It feels like you're giving and you're giving and you're giving and you're giving, and the kids, what do they need? What can I do for them? But the personal growth that happens at the same time is monumental compared to what that giving is. What is special about Camp Augusta? Wow, everything. It's like no other place on earth that I've ever been.
Living at camp is having a second home. There's such a strong community. It's the epitome of the neighborhood where you can leave your doors unlocked.
When I came to camp, I didn't really know much about what to expect in the daily life here. I read all of the amazing things that go on here, all the stories that are on the website, and I felt like I've had an incredible experience coming in, kind of unsure of what it's going to be like. What I would want someone to know before coming here. It's really nothing. If you feel like everything that's on the website is something that excites you, something that inspires you to come here with that inspiration.
If someone was thinking of working at camp, I would probably tell them that this is going to be unlike any other job that you would ever have in your life. Camp is a place that challenges you, it inspires you, it shows you your own creative potential. And if someone was going to work here and they never had before, they would want to be ready for what the community is like. They'd want to be ready for what immersing their life in this place is like. And it is high intensity, it's 24/7, it's on-call insanity all the time. And also, despite all the demands, it's one of the most satisfying places you'll ever work in your life.
If you come into Camp Augusta, I'm sure you will have a marvellous time and a period of great growth. I think somehow I expected that because everybody had gone through the same application process as I had and had agreed to the same community values and to a similar way of being in this community, I assumed that everyone would be very similar and quite like-minded. And although they are definitely like-minded in some ways and in the important areas, I think, everyone's really different, and the staff here was surprisingly diverse.
For someone who's thinking about coming here to work at camp, the first thing I would highlight is that we have a community that is, for the most part, dedicated to providing an extraordinary experience for the kids. And if you were to come here with the idea that you get to play all day, I would fully support that idea, as that's what we do.
We do so much more than just work with kids here. And I think sometimes we lose that as our focus as well. I think we can get caught up in philosophy and theory and experimentation with psychology and sociology that we forget just to be with children, which is an incredible gift.
people here really do speak their minds. We practice a lot of kind of clean communication skills. We do a lot about speaking your mind, asking for what you really, really want for. Being prepared to hear no, but still asking for it. And that can be a bit of a kind of a double-edged blade, really, that you will be in a place where people ask for the 100%, but they'll also speak their mind. And for a lot of people, we're not really used to that in our day-to-day lives. People internalize a lot of stuff. People will not speak up if someone's really annoying them, even slightly.
So I don't know if you ever had an oatmeal fight. We get the whole camp together, 100 of us down the field, with bathtubs full of oatmeal, 2 teams, and play this giant wizards and elves game. It's just like rock, paper, scissors, and cover each other with oatmeal. And it's got different colours in, we get filthy, and then we'll go jump in the lake afterwards and shower off. But at the start of the oatmeal fight, Randy always asks the question, like, how many of your parents would join on the field today and take part in the oatmeal fight? And why not? Like, when did we lose that freedom to play, to get dirty, to be silly? Because I know my parents wouldn't join me on the field and cook each other oatmeal and put it in their ears and up their nose. But why not?
I've learned a ton about communication and how to create a community where people can work together and function together and communicate effectively, and how to be kinder to one another, and how that helps within a community.
I feel like camp has made me a lot more relaxed and a lot sillier at the same time.
Since I've been in this place, in all the seasons I've worked here, I have learned many things. About myself, I've learned that I need to be more patient and let things happen and allow myself time to process and understand them. I've learned with encouragement that sweating the small stuff is not helpful to anybody. I've learned that living in a community of the same 55 or so people for 4 months straight can be one of the most beautiful, inspiring, frustrating, terrible, wonderful things that a person can choose to do.
Well, first of all, camp has changed me in somewhat surface level ways. I don't think I could have climbed 60 feet into a tree before I got here. I can do that pretty comfortably now. I could not make balloon animals, and I can make a dog. Still don't really like sleeping outside, believe it or not. And I work at camp.
There are so many little skills that I've learned just from being here. I've learned archery is the big one that I'm very happy with. I learned how to repair archery equipment. I learned how to repair and sight rifles. I've learned how to repair mountain bikes. I've learned how to just do all these really handy things. So there's that side of what can you learn here at camp. And then there's a wealth of knowledge that is given to you in the manuals about how to communicate with people and communicate with children. And when I read through it, I felt like, okay, I understand that, I've learned it, good to go. And when you get to camp, it takes a lot longer than that for it to actually become usable.
I feel that camp has really changed me in that I'm much more accepting of who I am as a person. I've become a lot more comfortable with my own identity, and it's something I've really been able to explore and appreciate further since being here. There really is no room at a place like this to pretend that you're someone else other than yourself. You might be able to do it at an office job where people are only seeing you in a professional manner for maybe 5 or 6 hours a day. But in a place like this, where you literally are working 23 to 24 hours a day in a really intense, small community with people that you're spending, months and months with, you can't keep that up.
I learned a lot about myself, more so than I was probably even expecting. I think a lot of people come here feeling like they at least have a good idea of themselves, and I found out pretty quickly that I'm capable of so much more than I would have expected or asked of myself. When I first came to camp, it was about finding out what exactly goes on here, and I mean right off the bat it's very different just from the first interview question, which is an open-ended "who are you?" You know, it's really intriguing, and I got here and it's about being part of what happens here and the magic that happens here. This is such a different place from any other camp that I've worked at, and it's great to be a part of that.
I think an important quality for staff is to not be very self-judgmental. I think there was a few staff who had a hard time with so much just self-criticism going on and being overwhelmed by that rather than working on being focused on their own growth.
I feel like the staff who excelled have a really natural passion for seeing things through, and I think it takes a lot of strength